How does a respected healthcare professional become the prime suspect in one of Zimbabwe's most shocking murder cases? And when investigators begin uncovering the truth, can an elaborate cover-up really outsmart modern forensic science? Imagine a quiet home in Harare late at night. A successful businessman is asleep, completely unaware that the person lying beside him has already made a life-changing decision. There are no signs of a struggle, no warning, no cries for help. Instead, according to court findings, the woman who had vowed to stand by him quietly put on a pair of latex gloves, picked up a loaded revolver, and forever changed the lives of the two families. By sunrise, one of the Zimbabwe's best-known transport entrepreneurs would be dead. The crime scene would appear to be the work of armed robbers, but detectives would soon discover that almost nothing was as it first seemed. This is the true crime story of Bridget Makaza and the murder of transport businessman McLeod Vaviri Mapanga. To understand this case, we first need to understand the man at its center. McLeod Mapanga was a successful businessman and the owner of the well-known Kurai bus company, a transport business that connected communities across Zimbabwe. His company provided employment to many people, and his name was widely recognized in the transport industry. Away from business, however, his personal life was more complicated. Mapanga lived in a polygamous marriage, dividing his time and resources among multiple households. While such family arrangements exist in some communities, they can also create emotional strain, competition, and conflict if relationships begin to deteriorate. One of his wives was Bridget Makaza. Unlike many people associated with high-profile criminal cases, Makaza had a respected professional career. She was a qualified nurse, a profession built on compassion, discipline, and preserving life. Those who knew her could hardly imagine that she would one day stand accused of planning her husband's death. According to evidence presented in court, tensions had been building within the marriage for some time. Prosecutors argued that jealousy, resentment, and ongoing disputes connected to the family's polygamous structure had created a deeply fractured relationship. Then came the night of May 14, 2018. According to court findings, Mapanga had gone to bed unaware that it would be the last night of his life. Investigators later concluded that while he slept, Makaza carefully carried out a premeditated plan. The court held that she wore latex gloves to reduce the possibility of leaving forensic evidence on her hands. She then used a revolver to shoot her sleeping husband 3 times at close range. He died in the very bed where he had gone to sleep, believing he was safe. But according to prosecutors, the killing itself was only the beginning. Detectives alleged that Makaza immediately began staging the scene to resemble a violent home invasion. Household items were disturbed. The circumstances were arranged to suggest armed robbers had broken into the home, demanded valuables, and fatally shot the businessman before escaping. It was a story designed to divert police attention away from the real perpetrator. According to investigations, she then removed critical evidence from the house, the revolver allegedly used in the shooting, along with the latex gloves, was hidden in a nearby swampy area. The apparent hope was that mud and water would destroy any forensic evidence connecting the items to the crime. If that had worked, detectives might have been left with far fewer answers. But criminal investigations rarely depend on just one piece of evidence. Experienced homicide detectives began carefully examining every detail of the scene. Almost immediately, investigators noticed inconsistencies. The alleged robbery did not match what they would normally expect to see after a violent break-in. There were questions about the condition of the property, questions about the sequence of events, questions about whether the intruders had actually entered the home at all. Those inconsistencies prompted a deeper investigation. Search teams expanded their work beyond the house and into the surrounding area. Eventually, investigators recovered both the revolver and the latex gloves from the marshland. Forensic specialists carried out ballistic examinations, and according to evidence accepted by the High Court, the firearm matched the bullets that killed Mapanga. With the forensic evidence mounting, investigators concluded that the robbery had been staged. Bridget Makaza was arrested and charged with murder. Many assumed the case would quickly proceed to trial. Instead, it entered another dramatic chapter. After being granted bail, Makaza left Zimbabwe before her trial could be completed. Authorities later confirmed that she had traveled to the United Kingdom, where she remained outside the reach of Zimbabwean justice for several years. For the victim's family, employees, and relatives, the wait for accountability became painfully long. As the years passed, some wondered whether she would ever return. Then in December 2024, the unexpected happened. Makaza came back to Zimbabwe. Whether she believed enough time had passed or expected to avoid arrest remains unclear. What is clear is that investigators had not forgotten the case. Soon after her return, law enforcement officers located and arrested her, allowing the long-delayed court proceedings to move forward. The trial attracted significant public attention. Prosecutors argued that the murder had been carefully planned and executed. The defense raised claims that Makaza had experienced domestic abuse during the marriage. The court carefully considered those arguments alongside the physical evidence, witness testimony, and forensic findings. Ultimately, the High Court concluded that the evidence supported a conviction for premeditated murder. Justice Emilia Muchawa found that the prosecution had proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. The court rejected the explanation that the killing resulted from self-defense or circumstances that justified the use of deadly force. Instead, the judgment described the murder as a calculated act. In October 2025, the court sentenced Bridget Makaza to 27 years in prison. The sentence brought legal closure to a case that had been stretched over 7 years. Yet for those who loved McLeod Mapanga, no prison sentence could undo the loss. His children lost a father. His extended family lost a loved one. Employees lost the businessmen who had built the company that supported their livelihoods. Cases involving intimate partners often leave communities asking difficult questions. How do relationships deteriorate to such devastating levels? Could warning signs have been recognized earlier? When serious domestic conflicts develops, what role should family members, friends, counselors, religious leaders, and community support systems play before disagreements escalate into irreversible violence? The Bridget Makaza case also demonstrates the critical role modern forensic science plays in criminal investigations. Crime scenes can be altered, evidence can be hidden, stories can be fabricated, but careful investigative work, forensic analysis, and persistence often reveal details that attempts at deception cannot see. More importantly, This case reminds us that appearances can be misleading. Profession, education, or social status do not determine whether someone is capable of committing a crime, nor do they determine guilt. Every allegation must be examined thoroughly. Every allegation must be examined through evidence, and every conviction must ultimately rest on what can be proven in court. Today, Bridget Makaza is serving a 27-year prison sentence following her conviction for the murder of McLeod Mapanga. The case remains one of Zimbabwe's most widely discussed examples of how jealousy, family conflict, and deliberate planning can end in irreversible tragedy. Before we end today's documentary, I would like to hear your thoughts. When wealth, complicated family dynamics, and jealousy collide, can those pressures ever explain such an act? Or was this simply the deliberate choice of one individual who believed she could outsmart investigators? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. If you enjoy respectful, thoroughly researched true crime documentaries from Zimbabwe and across Africa, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.